2099, Shadows of Satoshi. Chapter 1. Chains of Code. The sky above New Neo City was a canvas of perpetual twilight, the sun a mere spectator peering through the heavy veil of fog that shrouded the forest of skyscrapers. The city, a behemoth of steel and circuitry, throbbed with the pulse of a million LEDs, a stark reminder of the United Blockchain Territory's omnipresence. Amidst this electronic labyrinth wandered a figure, a specter of the revolution. Known only as Shadow, his athletic frame moved with purpose, a whisper against the cacophony of the city's heartbeat. The stylized Guy Fawkes mask clung to his face, a visage of anonymity that was his only shield against the prying eyes that littered every corner, every alleyway. Once, Shadow had stood proudly amongst the architects of this digital age, a pioneer in the era of decentralization. But that was before betrayal by those he once called allies, those who had traded their ideals for the cold embrace of power and currency. Stripped of his past, he had become the embodiment of the cause he now lived for, the liberation of society from the shackles of corporate servitude. Tonight, like many nights before, he was set to rendezvous with his crew, a cadre of rebels each carved by their own tales of sorrow and defiance. Phoenix, with her fiery mane and scarred visage, was the first to arrive. A former titan in the world of code, now a phoenix risen from the ashes of her creation, turned against her by the very corporation that once exalted her genius. Her fingers, calloused from endless nights at the keyboard, itched to dismantle the chains she had unwittingly helped forge. Then there was Sphinx, whose androgynous features were as much a riddle as the blockchain puzzles they adored. Cloaked in mystery and tattoos of code, Sphinx had grown up in the bowels of the city, watching as the promise of blockchain became the tool of their oppression. Their intellect was a blade, honed sharp on the whetstone of rebellion. Finally, Wraith slinked in, a shadow within shadows. Agile and lithe, they were a former street hacker, a ghost whose personal vendetta against the corporate tyrants was etched into every line of their obscured face. The digital screen that often masked their features flickered with a cascade of patterns, a symbol of the anonymity that had become their creed. They congregated in the bowels of an abandoned subway station, a relic from a time when the world was measured in miles and not in data packets. Graffiti screamed in silence from the walls, and the air was thick with the musk of damp and decay. This was their haven, their sanctum from the watchful eyes above. Their meeting was a confluence of whispers and shadows, a dance of rebels poised on the knife edge of revolution. Together, they plotted their next move, a strike at the heart of their oppression, the blockchain repository. It was the vault of secrets, the core from which the corporate entities exerted their stranglehold over the populace. To breach it was madness, a task deemed impossible by those who clung to the remnants of sanity in a world gone mad. But for Shadow and his crew, it was the only path forward. In the chains of code that bound the world, they would find the key to its liberation, or its further damnation. As they left the station, dispersing into the fog, the city seemed to hold its breath. The revolution had begun, and with it, the hope that the chains of the New World Order might at last be shattered.